Gang, what's up? Aaron here, Kennedy and Looney. We're going to take a quick swing through X and see what is going on there. Nothing much positive happens on X, but let's take a look and a listen, I suppose. Let's go.
Hey, I mean, how do you see it?
I mean, nobody has been able to get out from under the tariff pressure from President Trump. This meeting apparently happened in a conversation at the UN General Assembly where the president said, you should come on down, and that's why they're going. I don't know if they go there with the expectation, but how do you say no to Donald Trump if he wants to meet? I mean, what's your expectations on this one?
Countries have managed to negotiate new trade deals, not without tariffs, but I'm not why Canada would necessarily be of the view that the approach to us would be different. We have a different relationship, but that argument has fallen on deaf ears from the president's case. And you mentioned the word hope, David, but hope is not a strategy. And doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, is the definition of insanity. It's not clear to me what Canada is going to bring to the discussion tomorrow that would be any different from what we were bringing to the table in April and in August when that deadline passed. So I think I'm a little more cynical than Rob. I think that there is track being laid. I don't think it's for a win. I think it's to have the unpredictability be the message and to justify enormous spending that we are going to see in the budget. We've already seen the president just today levy new tariffs on trucks, and that came following the mismanaged expectations on the part of the Prime Minister's office around perhaps securing a sectoral deal. So I do hope that I am wrong, given the pain that a lot of those in steel and aluminum industries are facing right now. I hope that I am wrong, but I think the unpredictability plays well for the Prime Minister. And if he is seen to be doing something like having a meeting but achieving nothing, it's going to help justify the enormous spending that we're about to see in about a month's time.
But, Kate, other countries have announced agreements, but I wouldn't say they're trade deals. They've had announcements. They're not full-fledged trade deals. There's nothing to breadth and scope of CUSMA. There's nothing to breadth and scope of CETA. It's like bullet point announcements with a baseline tariff and some agreement to invest in the country, right? I mean, those aren't really deals in the proper sense.
Then we should be expediting the CUSMA renegotiation even faster than its current trajectory. Right. If it's true that the only way Canada is going to get out from under the thumb of these tariffs is to have a comprehensive trade deal, then we should be accelerating the CUSMA process to the best of our ability. But again, I think that's bad politics for the Prime Minister. I think the Prime Minister is floating on the grace of a lot of Canadians right now in terms of being the one to get a deal done. They're happy to blame the economic situation and the unpredictability on the President of the United States and not on the Prime Minister. I do think that is short-lived, and it's going to be something that he has to deal with heading deeper into the fall, but I think he's happy to play up the politics of it at this moment.
Brad, how do you see?
Hi, everyone. It's Mary and Chris live from Ottawa.
Yes.
Why are we here?
Why are we here? We might be going to jail tomorrow, actually.
We're going to do it this way so we don't have to say, we're just waiting for a few people to come on here.
That's right. You don't have to wait for a lot.
We're here. We both did the 3,000-kilometer journey across, and we're here now, and we're waiting to hear our fate tomorrow morning in Ottawa court at 10 o'clock a.m.
So 10 o'clock tomorrow. And we really just wanted to come on and say thank you so much to all of you for all the support these last few years and being a part of this journey with us. And we'll see what happens tomorrow, I guess.
It is what it is. We've been on this path for the last few years. We're here joined with our family and our spouses, so they're just off camera watching right now, probably smiling and snickering. They won't join us on this, but hey, we're here, and we're all here because of people like you standing behind us, so it is what it is.
Thank you so much for the support, Canada. We couldn't have got this far without you, so thank you.
We're here, and we're here till the end, so regardless of what happens tomorrow, everybody, keep your composure. Peace is still
eye on the prize.
Eye on the prize.
Eye on the prize.
Thanks, everyone.
Love you.
Love you.
Why are you changing how you present the budget rather than changing your reckless spending so that on a net basis you actually balance it?
Well, you should ask yourself why you voted against measures that support Canadians. I think people watching at home would be surprised to see your voting records and say you voted against measures that would make their life more easy.
Very simple answer. I really want you to answer my question. Why are you changing how you're presenting it rather than actually trying to balance the budget?
I think Canadians are entitled to transparency. In a frank discussion between you and I I think your husband and your family and everyone in your riding is entitled to have more transparency to see the budgeting, where their tax dollars going to be used. I think this is about
Bad dog.
transparency.
I agree. Transparency is a good thing.
Get down.
But every single person in my riding does not get to rework their budget to see if it looks better at month end. The bottom line is the bottom line. If you don't have money, you don't have money. Why are you changing how you're presenting the budget instead of actually balancing it?
So the bottom line is the bottom line, but I think you cannot be against giving more information to Canadians. People want to know where their money is going. Is it for expenses or investment?
The result is the same.
Is the deficit going to be higher than under your government and Mr. Carney's government compared to Trudeau's?
You should be informing your constituent that we have the lowest deficit to GDP ratio in the G7.
Minister, please.
No, but
I'm
that
asking
really
a very
matters.
simple question. Is it going to be higher
That really
than
matters.
Trudeau's or not?
I would say you need to compare our fiscal position with the other G7 country because Canadians look at that. Our colleagues, the
Minister,
bond rating
numbers,
agency.
numbers don't change. It's black and white.
Francois
I come from
is a
from
rat.
the financial sector. Is it going to be higher than Trudeau's or lower than Trudeau's?
I know you come from the financial sector, and that's why I'm happy you're on the finance committee, but you wouldn't know because you're a very smart.
As you may have heard, our new government is
He's a
presenting a budget
scoundrel.
on November 4th.
The Mark Carney
Little
government
bitch.
will open its books to Canadians.
On November 4th.
We're going to present a great budget in this House on the 4th of November, Mr. Speaker.
The world is changing. Trade disruptions are no longer the exception, but the rule. Partners we once relied on are changing the way they do trade. Put simply, these are not normal times. As a country, we must pivot to make Canada strong, and we are. Just as CDR led the Canadian economy in 1945, with generational investments in railways and ports and energy, all things that drive our economy today, we must now make generational investments.
I generally don't want to kick a little lapdog, but for FPC, we could make an exception. This guy is brutal.
To build Canada to be more resilient for decades to come. That's why we're taking a new approach to budgeting. One that spends less, invests more, and sets Canada on a path towards long-term growth. Here's how. First, more strategic planning. From now on, Canada's budget will be presented in the fall with an economic and fiscal update coming in the spring. We are doing this so government decisions line up with the real needs of the economy and with the reporting cycle of Canadian businesses, provinces, municipalities, and investors. It's a simple change, but one that will create more stability and predictability and will also be very beneficial to align with the construction season. Investment for growth. We are adopting a new way of budgeting that puts a spotlight on investments that actually build Canada's future. Think of it this way.
The Liberals are also changing the budget framework to separate day-to-day spending from capital investments. Operational day-to-day costs include health and social transfers and government salaries, while capital investments encompass spending on major projects, housing, clean energy, and infrastructure.
When will the budget be balanced?
At the Finance Committee, the opposition slammed the minister for budget changes that don't add up.
Debt is still debt at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how many columns you try to present in front of Canadians and try to trick them. Are you guys going to be cooking the books?
It's irresponsible for a member of parliament to use language like that. I will say that. It's irresponsible.
The changes come after the interim parliamentary budget officer estimated that Canada's deficit will grow to $68.7 billion this year. Some economists say clearly showing how much the government is spending on capital investment is important.
What are we using debt finance for? Is it for, for capital investment, in terms that will be there for decades? Or is it for current consumption?
The finance minister says he'll balance the operational budget in 3 years. For more details, from
Next.
Kelly, get inside! Oh, thank you, kitty!
I'm coming! Grab the baby!
I got you, sweetheart, you're safe.
We're focused on building a very strong bilateral relationship, and I asked my colleague opposite, is it a failure when we support our auto industry? Is it a failure when we support steel?
So far,
When we support aluminum, Mr. Speaker? We beg to differ. We are diversifying our trade routes. We are building strong bilateral relationships across the world, including with the United States, Mr. Speaker. And on this side of the House, we will always fight for Canada. Vive le Canada!
We never talk down our workers, we never talk down our industries, and we never talk down our economy. Let me talk to you about good news, Mr. Speaker. 500 jobs new at Itachi in Varennes, Quebec. 150 jobs in Alstom, Saint-Bruno, Quebec. 400 new jobs in Kitimat, Cedar, LNG. 500 new jobs at Ferrero, Brantford, Ontario. Who doesn't like Nutella? 460 jobs at Stem Cell Technologies in Burnaby. We'll continue to build Canada strong.
Bill C8 can hand the government secret, warrantless powers over Canadians' communications. This is a serious setback for privacy. It's also a serious setback for democracy. With no requirement for privacy impact assessments before these laws or regulations are passed, and with the serious implications that they have on Canadians' privacy, isn't Parliament simply being asked to grant sweeping powers of surveillance to the government without a formal review?
In fact, privacy impact assessment is something that Treasury Board directive requires government departments to do, but it's not a legal obligation in the Privacy Act. And this is one of the recommendations that I have made to Parliament, and I continue to make. It should be an obligation. There should be the opportunity for my office to give input before the fact when there's a major change, including legislation. So it's something to manage. There's cabinet confidences to be considered, but I would agree that that opportunity.
Next.
Roman Babbitt, Conservative Member of Parliament. I just left the Shaarei Tzedek Synagogue 2-year commemoration of September 7th, and look around me. Police cars everywhere, SWAT teams. There's all sorts of security activity all around me. Drones, police drones, and as you can see, there's metal detectors entering a synagogue in Midtown Toronto to commemorate October 7th. It is shameful that this is how Canadians live now, that a Toronto community no longer feels safe getting together at a synagogue. This should concern all of you. It doesn't matter which community you come from. This should concern every Canadian. That people in our country no longer feel safe. Enough with platitudes. We don't want tweets. We don't want to say that hate is unacceptable. We need to understand the source of it.
Judy's friend, CTV News. Good morning, Mr. Carney. You were at the helm of a company that quite clearly registered much of its business in Bermuda to avoid paying taxes, including, as CTV News reported, registered to an address of a bike shop in Bermuda. You have said that this is the way the world works, and that in the case of pension funds, that leaves more money for pensioners. But in this case, it looks like just plain tax avoidance. This may be a legal practice, and as you say, as the world works, but is it ethical, Mr. Carney?
First off, I'm no longer at Brookfield. Secondly, their arrangements follow the rules.
Did not really respond to the question as to your opinion as to if it was ethical. You wrote a book, Values.
Look at
the thesis of that book was that capitalism or markets left to their own devices don't help humanity. For years, your party, the Liberal Party, has promised to stop the practice of tax avoidance that Brookfield and other companies have engaged in. Do you have the tools to do that? You said so. When are you going to release and tell Canadians what those tools are? And when will you implement them?
In terms of having a fair tax system in Canada, including for corporate taxation, it's absolutely a priority of my government. If we are re-elected, it'd be a priority of our government to ensure that our companies are paying their fair share of taxes.
Did not really respond to the question. The thesis of that book was that capitalism or markets left to their own devices don't help humanity. For years, your party, the Liberal Party, has promised to stop the practice of tax avoidance that Brookfield and other companies have engaged in.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Minister for Justice and the Attorney General of Canada with the Conservative Party. Thanks so much for your time.
Good afternoon, Alex. Happy to be here.
All right, great to be with you.
We're going to wrap it up right there, guys. Just a string of videos from X. Like, not much stuff that goes on over there makes you feel any better. Like, wait until you see it. Wait until you interact. They will pollute your mind. It's not a place to go to feel better about how things are. My name's Aaron, Canadian Looney. Like, share, subscribe. Canadian federal politics. Everyone has an opinion. Get yours right here. We'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching this one. We're out.
I think it is extraordinary that Mark Carney has become the Prime Minister of Canada. He did a terrible job in Britain.
These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.